slips in the gully on the offside, as well as backward point. Shammy into Anderson, and he simply walks away towards the offside, and watch this one go down leg and into the gloves of the keeper. Walked away, exposed all his stumps, happily let the ball go. So Sam Curran gets the strike. Commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra with England 2:45 for 9 on digital radio, digital TV online and via the BBC Sport app. But our Radio 4 long-wave listeners are leaving us briefly for the shipping forecast.
It's a very good score, 2:45 for 9 after what situation England were in. Just a little bit after lunch, 86 for 6. Both Butler and Stokes, who had that big century partnership in the previous game and were looking good, both taken by Mohammad Shami. And it looked at that stage that England would struggle to get maybe another 80-odd runs, but this has been absolutely top-class fight back. Sam Curran and Moeen Ali with their partnership, and then Sam Curran and Stuart Broad with their partnership. So in a way showing that the left-handers are proving a bit of a problem for the Indian bowlers.
These particular left-handers, yes. Here goes Bumrah, and then to Curran. He's forced into a defensive stroke from the crease. Angles the ball out towards cover, and there's no run. Yes, less so the first couple of left-handers.
Yes, you're right about the lower order. Left-handers causing more of a problem.
But they've rescued the day for England. They really have. And still not as many runs, of course, as England would be looking at first innings, having opted to bat, given the conditions. But from where they were, it's been an absolute rescue act. Bumrah holds the ball in 2 hands as he approaches the crease. Bowls now to Curran, steering that down to third man. Well, sets off for 1 and then decides against it because it was only going to be the single. Doesn't want to expose Anderson, needs to keep the strike. And so he sent himself back or Jimmy Anderson sent him back. Either way.
Good thinking that because clearly Jimmy is only going to defend.
Yeah.
And if Jimmy is allowed a couple of deliveries like it was done in the previous over, he'll try and defend those 2 deliveries. But he'll be hoping that Sam Curran will get the additional runs. As many runs now can be added will be very, very good for England.
Yeah, looking for 2s, certainly in the early part of this over, or 4s indeed. Bumrah has his 2 slips. In now to Curran, defence once more. It's a full delivery on off stump. And Curran forced into blocking it. And with a solid angled bat. But a dot ball. He just needs to ride these out, wait for his opportunity to score. He certainly won't be taking a desperate single unless it's the very last ball of the over. Bumrah's taken 3 for 46 so far today. Took the wicket of Keaton Jennings out without scoring in the 3rd over of the day. Horrible LBW. Bairstow was caught behind off Bumrah, and then the LBW off Stuart Broad. In he comes now. The late evening sun's dipped behind a high cloud at the Rose Bowl. Oh, he's backed away towards leg, left a big gap and a big swing and a miss. And it's left for Pant to gather behind the stumps, across to his right-hand side. But Bumrah saw him move, followed him somewhat, and passed the leg stump into the gloves of the keeper. But he's certainly moving around. And an awful lot there, Sam Curran, 78 not out.
Yes, he recognises that Bumrah is not an easy bowler to hit.
We welcome back our radio
At maybe another 20-30 runs, India will be hoping that no more than maybe half a dozen runs will be added. Jimmy Anderson is on strike, so clearly India fancy their chances of getting him out cheaply. Ashwin's been given the ball. Mohammad Shami had bowled the previous over, but it's Ravichandran Ashwin bowling. The left-handed Jimmy Anderson.
Good evening, Sunil.
Good evening, Simon.
Well, he got him out the last time he bowled to him at Trent Bridge, final wicket on the fifth day. Perhaps just get onto that front pad and pin him LBW. That's one way. It's taking a while here to sort out the protective equipment for the close fielders. Box going in and helmet. 2:45. For 9. The new ball's available in 4 overs. Close of play in half an hour, unless England bat for 21 minutes and then are dismissed, and that will be the close of play. So a possibility that India will bat tonight. A little tricky period. Let's see. Here is Ashwin now. 3 close catches on the offside. Goes in and bowls to Anderson, who's forward, angling that away into the hands on the bounce of Silly Point. So 2 slips and a Silly Point. Here is Ashwin. Bowls to Anderson, tossed up, and that's beaten the keeper. This is going away for a bye, and now I think byes are joint second top scorer. Is that right, Andrew?
That's right, yeah. 23.
So a joint third top scorer, because of course Curran and Moeen Ali gone level with Stokes on 23. Sorry about that. Yeah, joint third top scorer today. So that's a little bonus down the leg side and missed by Pant. And 1 more to the total, so 2:46 for 9. So Ashwin will now bowl to Curran, who's on 78 from 134 balls. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men on the boundary. And a slip in and 3 saving 1 on the offside. Here is Ashwin, bowls to Curran, who's down the pitch and driving. Scuff drive, really, up towards long off. Eventually gets there, bobbles towards the long off area.
I think it'd be, he's played so well.
Hello, Thomas.
Yeah, hello, this afternoon. It'd be disappointed if he just sort of throws it away now.
Yeah. They didn't take the single there.
No. Just
Curran,
looking for 2s.
Curran on strike. Ashwin bowls, and Curran is bowled. That's a horrible end to a fine innings from Curran. A huge swipe, and he's bowled. And England have been dismissed for 246. Curran, last man out for 78. Well, they would have got nowhere near without his runs. It wasn't a great shot in the end, but he's given England something to defend. It could have been so much worse. 86 for 6, 246 all out.
Yeah, what a shame. Well played. Well played. Dug England out of a hole. 86 for 6, as you said, and looking at, under 100 or even 150. And he's getting around. He's getting a standing ovation there. 78. Well played. Just made it look quite simple, really, where everyone else was struggling and groping outside off stump. He came out, looked to be positive from ball 1 and carried it on all the way through. So well played, Sam Curran.
Yeah, continuing the good impression he's made so far in his Test match career.
Could be another match winner, It was a match winner at Edgbaston that he played, didn't he? That's 60 odd. When we were thinking it wasn't going to have a huge impact, but I mean that is a massive knock for England. That has given them something to bowl at, that's for sure. Well played.
Yeah, Curran 63 at Edgbaston.
Yeah,
and at Edgbaston, just looking back, he came in at. Do you know what he came in at there, Edgbaston? He came in at 86 for 6.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do.
Well, the point is, he's used to it. He's had practice.
Well, I mean, yeah, and it shows because he played wonderfully well there. I know the ball got a little bit older for India, and I think they'll be kicking themselves. And momentum-wise, and we talk about it, about sides going into dressing rooms, about how they're feeling. I mean, India, even though they've done a great job in dismissing England for 250 odd, but they'll be feeling, they'll be kicking themselves, and then you're just playing in the game again that you're thinking, you're fighting to get that initiative back, and you're worried about having had the game in the palm of your hand, so to speak.
Yeah, it felt like it could have been a 130 all out, and then you're totally in control of the game. Having said that, they bat well in their first innings.
Yeah.
And we'll see what this pitch is like now when England get to bowl on it. And the lower order from England had enough. Well, they were free enough. They were able to increase the score considerably without a huge number of alarms. I don't think Curran was beaten that much outside the off stump. So, India have got an opportunity, a great opportunity, to get a reasonable first innings lead and put England under pressure in their second innings. Overs left today, well, I think loads is the answer, but it'll be about 17 minutes cricket, something like that.
Nice little time to have a bowl. Opening batsman, nothing to gain. England will be flying in, and sort of after slapping Sam Curran on the back, and Jimmy Anderson and Stuart Broad will be right up for it. A couple of wickets tonight, which always seems to be the way it happens. England will feel they've had a good day.
Yeah, well, they'd love to get one, wouldn't they? Don't be too greedy.
Two would be lovely.
Two would be a huge bonus. So 34 extras today.
Not a lot his fault, some his fault. Not a lot, not all of them. I mean, a couple of just were absolutely wide as wides, which goes down to the keeper. But he doesn't look sort of secure as a stumper.
I'll give you the scorecard. England have been bowled out for 246 in 76.4 overs. Very slow over 8 today. So that was past the scheduled close of play. We're only in the 77th over. Cook was Cork Kohli, bowled Pandya for 17. Jennings was LBW, playing no shot to Bumrah for 0. He'd have been out even if he'd been playing a shot. Got into a real tangle. Was Cork Kohli, bowled Pandya for 17.
LBW,
Jennings was LBW, playing no shot to Bumrah for 0. He'd have been out. Stokes, LBW, Shami been playing a shot. Got into a real tangle. Was Cork Kohli, bowled 21. Moeen Ali caught Bumrah, bowled Ashwin for 40, put on 81 for the 7th wicket. Curran was bowled Ashwin for 78. Rashid LBW Sharma for 6. Broad LBW Bumrah for 17. Anderson was not out. 34 extras, 23 byes, 9 leg byes and 2 no balls. I would note 5 LBWs.
Yeah, England can take a leaf out.
Whether it's, that bowl straight is an LBW pitch.
Yeah.
Suggest it. And there was another one as well where Root was given not out, and India reviewed it, and that would have been at LBW. But it was just overstepped, and Root was out eventually, LBW. The bowling figures: Bumrah 20 overs, 5 maidens, 3 for 46. I like Curran confirming the very good impression he made earlier in the series, i.e. in the last Test match at Trent Bridge. So what's he get? 10 wickets now in the series already for Jasprit Bumrah in 1.5 Test matches. Sharma 16 overs, 6 maidens, 2 for 26. Fabulous figures for Ishant. Pandya 8 overs, 1 for 51. He was the one bowler England were able to get after and profit from. Shami 18 overs, 2 maidens, 2 for 51. And Ashwin 14.4 overs, 3 maidens, 2 for 40.
10 wickets at 16.8 for Bumrah in the series. The 23 byes, there's been quite a few in Test innings where there have been that many byes or more, but there's only been 2 in a lower total. In 1951, Godfrey Evans conceded 30 byes out of a total of 189 in Wellington against New Zealand, and back in 1906, Percy Sherwell conceded 23 out of a total of 190.
Old Percy, yeah, well, he had a bad day. I remember it well.
Yes. I was on commentary, actually. You were talking about Pandya. That's just when Curran came in, hit a couple of 4s in succession, and then I think Moeen Ali sort of hit a couple of 4s there, and that was the time when it just started to turn for England a bit. That little passage of play, and then Kohli had to go to Ashwin, and first day, you're asking your spinner just to do a holding job, really, and they just lack that penetration. If they would have got a wicket there with some decent seam bowling, I think the door would have been well and truly open. But you could just feel the the momentum shift slightly in that passage of play.
India bowled for the most part today,
very
though, really well.
Top three seamers. Those, as you said, Bumrah, Sami and Sharma, top class first two sessions. Gave nothing to India. Just bowled in the corridor. Good lines, good lengths, good disciplines. Just enough seamen. It was just doing a bit all day to keep them interested, and also just to keep the batsmen honest and bowled it really well. Good display by India, but they'll be kicking themselves. Now. Believe me, I've been in these positions when you get 86 for 6, and you just see the runs keep going up and up and up and up. You're just going, oh no, and even though you walk off at 250, that's a great day for India, having bowled England out, having England won the toss. But you just feel that you might have opened a door. It's a bit like not scoring that second goal. And you're all over someone. And it worries you that you've given the opposition a chance to get back into the test.
But it is that situation where at the start of the day, if you said to Kohli 246 all out,
absolutely happy days. Yeah.
So what about this pitch then?
Don't know.
Tuffers.
Might have got it wrong this morning. I don't know.
Is it a 240 pitch? Is it a 280? Is it a 320 or a 350?
We shall see now, as India are going to have a dart on it. Well, we won't know until tomorrow, but I think that it's still got a bit of runs. There's plenty of runs in it. I don't think that England top order again fired nowhere near. Some loose shots. Even the likes of Joss Butler's shot was a poor shot for me. Look, pitching up, it was just pitched up swing bowling, and eventually nicked one sort of thing. So yeah, I think there was always going to be a bit. Well, there should always be a bit in it for a side that loses the toss. And it should just first session swing and seam about a little bit. Well, exactly, seam about a little bit. Sometimes it's overhead conditions that make it swing. So it should just be something there. But England didn't cope with it very well at all again.
36 for 4 England were.
Yeah.
1 for 1, 15 for 2, 28 for 3, 36 for 4. Right, England have had their huddle and they're making their way to the middle.
Could be a case of reverse the batting order. Done that. I've seen that happen a couple of times, not in Test cricket, but in county cricket.
Well, I know Jonathan has said it for a while. He said Chris Woakes should open the batting.
Yeah, who knows? It seems like the sort of the rhythm and the sort of the way cricket is played nowadays is completely. Why not stick Curran and let's have a bit of Curran and Ali batting, opening the batting. Who knows?
Well, Moeen's had a go at the top. He's had a go everywhere, I think. Is he batted 1 to 9 for England? Something like that. Andrew nods his head.
Didn't even have to look that one up.
I think the last time he played against India, he was batting at 4 in a Test match in Chennai. Made 40 at number 7. He helped England's recovery with that stand of 81 for the 7th wicket. And then 63 for the 9th wicket between Broad and Curran. Curran out for 78. You just wonder whether, I don't know, it's a hunch as a captain. You've got, probably 4 overs left tonight, 4 or 5 overs. Well, it's worth giving Curran a go. With a new ball, you just swing it.
Yeah, great shout.
But I'm sure they'll go with the old firm. Well, certainly Anderson anyway. Obviously, that's a no-brainer, but
that's a great shout. I would just be tempted.
Yes,
that's a great shout. I'd just be tempted. Good luck telling Stuart Broad that. But I'd just be tempted because he's going to have a couple of overs. Go, well batted, young man. Carry on your purple patch.
Well, it's all right. It has a double aspect to it as well. You might think the positive for Curran, but also you just say for Broad, it just sort of gets him going as well, doesn't it? It's taking the new ball away from
The nipper's nipped the new ball. And he comes steaming in tomorrow morning for you. I think that's a fair shout.
Right, James Anderson is going to bowl. And now, what have we got? Anderson, 500. Where have I got it in my notes? He's 7 away, I know that. 557 Test wickets. This is his 142nd Test match. He is 6 behind Glenn McGrath, the most successful pace bowler in the history of Test cricket. So 7 in this game. We'll take him past McGrath. He got the oval as well. And here's the first ball. Dhawan is on strike. 4 slips are in. Anderson goes in and bowls very wide of off stump. It's a hint of swing, but that was a real loosener from Anderson. And Broad is loosening up, so Root is going to go with Broad. Well, unless Broad's just decided he's going to bowl.
Yeah,
Root hasn't told him yet.
No. I like your idea, Simon. Give the youngster a little dart. Seems to make things happen.
Rejigged. England slip cordon, go down, and Anderson bowls again outside the off stump. Again, there's some swing there for Anderson, but it started very wide, so Dhawan didn't have to play at it.
What's the rejig slip?
Right, what have we got there? We've got
that.
Cook at first slip. That's not rejigged.
No, that's 50-50.
We've got Root at second slip.
Good slipper.
Stokes at third.
Good slipper.
And I think that's Jennings at fourth slip. Not such a good slipper.
No. Well, at least we've got 2 out of 4.
You wouldn't put Jennings on your feet to keep you warm on a cold winter night, would you? Here is Anderson bowling, and Dhawan comes forward. And it slides past the outside edge. I think he was fully committed to the shot.
Yeah, last Joe's realised that he doesn't have to stand at mid-on to a chap who's going to become the greatest ever seam bowler in all time.
Something I noticed at Trent Bridge, though, he's got... which hand is it?
Webbed hand.
The right hand. He's semi-serious.
Sorry.
But he's got bandage on his right hand. Root. Here is Anderson bowling again across Dhawan. And again, there's no shot.
Yeah.
It's through to Butler. Did I say Bairstow earlier? Butler. You get used to that as well. Where's Bairstow fielding?
He'll be in the covers, probably.
Where is he? Is he at point? Backward point.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he's in the firing line if one is pitched up.
Yeah.
Or one is short and it's cut away.
Yeah. Good fielder, though, in his own right.
Yeah, I suppose you've got to be in the firing line somewhere or other.
Yeah.
Broad's at mid-on, Rashid at square leg, Moeen at mid-off. Well, you've probably got a high 1 or 2 in this England side. Now Anderson's going to go round the wicket. It's bowled to Dhawan. Goodness me, that went a long way, but again it started very wide. It swung away miles from the left-hander. Well, there is something there, just of Anderson getting it right. He hasn't in this first over. A lot of wide deliveries. Might surprise him with the straightish one in a minute.
I don't think I've seen the ball swing so regularly.
In an English summer.
In an English summer.
Yeah.
Hoop. I mean, it's hooped.
Yeah. Anderson goes in to bowl to Dhawan, and Dhawan pushes that away, makes contact for the first time, and it goes to Bairstow at backward point. And there's no run. That's the end of a maiden over from Anderson, but not the best over he's bowled in Test cricket.
No.
But there was some swing there for him. So we've got just under 50 minutes left. India yet to score in reply to 246 all that. I mean, at the start of the series, you thought, spin's bound to play a big part in this series. It's so dry. They cannot prevent it from playing a big part.
No.
But
look at this outfield.
This outfield, well, I mean, we've had a lot of rain now, haven't we?
Yeah,
this outfield is lush. Birmingham was lush. Lords was as green as we've ever seen it.
Yeah.
And Trent Bridge, I wasn't there, but it looked quite green on the television.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's...
Well, the big hoo-ha about Adil Rashid, you know. Got to get the leg, just get the seamers in.
Yeah. Well, and Ashwin as well. I mean, Ashwin has taken wickets, I think 9 in the series.
Yeah.
Thereabouts. But he's not played a huge part in the series where you thought, it was so... all the fields were biscuit brown at the start of August. You thought, Ashwin's going to be a threat, and perhaps even the left arm wrist spinner is going to be a threat, but he's out the squad now. Yeah, he's out the squad. He's on A-team duty. Yeah. Right, Broad is going to bowl to KL Rahul. 4 slips in for him and a short leg. Broad goes in and bowls. His first ball he comes forward to. That was right on the money from Broad. Drawing him forward. Plays it out towards mid-off, where it's picked up by Moeen.
Well,
and there's no run.
Perhaps England might have just had a word with the old groundsman just to say, come on now, we need to, we don't need flat belters that then turn into spinning pitches. So leave it there, grass on.
Right, another rejigged slip cord. Anderson is in at 4 slip now. And Jennings has been dispatched to short leg.
Right, OK.
Broad running in from the pavilion end. Bowls to Rahul. He's struck on the pass. A shout for LBW. Not out.
No.
Says umpire Dharmasena. Didn't look a bad shout. Did he get something on that?
Just didn't look right to me. Just didn't quite look right. Cut's going down.
Going to sing the replay now.
High.
High. Straight but high.
Yeah,
hit him on the back leg, but above the pad.
Let's see.
So there's adrenaline there, I think, in the appeal from Broad. There he goes again. Bowls to Rahul. That's down the leg side. Rahul tries to brush it away and misses it. And it's taken by Butler away to his left-hand side. Shadows lengthening on what's been a pleasant late summer's day. A nice day for watching cricket. Not too hot, but not cold either. Lovely balance. It says 9.5 overs remain. Only 10 minutes left. And we'll have had the extra half an hour as well. Just shows you how slow the over rate has been today. Broad bowls to Rahul. That's down the leg side. Angled down and missed by Rahul and taken by Butler away to his left-hand side. Broad's rather got the Anderson disease here.
Yeah. New ball in your hand, make them play, don't waste it.
Well, that's one of the problems, isn't it? People say, it's tricky for the batsman to go out and play sort of the 20 minutes. The bowlers as well. There's probably that feeling of you've got to make every ball count. And I don't know whether that makes you tense up a bit or you feel as if you're wasting it, makes you anxious.
Yeah, just bowl straight. Bowl straight.
And Broad goes in again to bowl to Rahul. That's outside the off stump. Rahul leans forward and lets it go through to Butler. I always think that actually 4 overs for a batsman or 5 overs for a batsman, you've got quite a small target ahead of you. Whereas the hardest spell or passage to play is about 15 overs.
I agree.
Do you know what I mean by that?
Yeah, because you can get into your rhythm, you can get into your
bowlers
spell.
can get into their rhythm, and the batsman, it's quite a long way from the close, but you're still sort of playing for the close.
Yeah, no.
So I think
Agreed.
3 or 4 overs, you've got a definite close target, the batting side. Broad bowls to Rahul. Oh my goodness me!
Word.
I think that's one of the widest wides I've ever seen in Test cricket.
Yeah. Wow.
And it was signalled wide. A remarkable delivery from Broad.
Did that actually pitch on the cut stuff?
Just. It was taken by diving Butler to the right of Cook.
Only just made the fairway. Nearly hit the first cut of rough there.
It's an amazing delivery. So India off the mark. 1 for no wicket with a wide. Broad tries again, past the umpire, up to the stumps, bowls to Rahul, who edges this down to the third-man boundary. This might well go for 4. The chase is on, Stokes is after it. The ball is creeping towards the rope. Stokes knocks it back. Well, it just underlines what a slow outfield we've got here today.
Yeah.
So 3 runs. On a normal outfield or a quicker outfield, I think England's 246, definitely worth a few more.
Yeah,
It is a very slow outfield. 4 for no wicket. We have got just under 10 minutes left in the day's play, and to take you to the close, it will be Tuffers and Daniel Norcross.
Yes, might not have done Ben Stokes any good, that diving stave. He's readjusting himself. He's got a wonky knee. There's a big skid mark on the grass where his knee dug in there.
Hello.
Evening.
Hello. hello.
I haven't seen you all day.
I haven't seen you. I haven't seen you order. Well, I've passed you every now and then.
Yeah.
Past the mattress. 4 slips, backward point.
Got out of jail, England, do you reckon?
Do you think? I think what they've done is they've got out of life imprisonment on Devil's Island. Yes. But I'm not yet certain that they've made it. Yeah. They're currently in Ford Open, and they're hoping for a reprieve beyond that. Just a bit of house arrest, maybe. As Anderson is in outside the off-stump through to the keeper. No run. I think if they picked up a couple of wickets tonight.
Oh, looking good.
Well, then you might actually, genuinely say they were, on parole.
Yeah.
To maintain this metaphor.
Yeah.
Has Jimmy Anderson ever got a hat-trick in his long and illustrious first-class career? I only say that because I had a strange premonition.
Oh, when was this?
Last night I was thrashing around in a new hotel room bed. You know how it's all a bit weird when it's new. Anderson in again, outside the off-stump through to the keeper, and there's no run. You're trying to kick the duvet off because it's all been tucked in tight.
Oh, yes.
And I think I expended a lot of energy on that as I dozed off. This thing about an Anderson hat-trick, I thought, has he ever got a hat-trick? These are the things that infest my brain at this time, I know.
Oh, dear.
And I'm not sure that he has.
I'm glad we've got single room.
Yes. Well, indeed.
Indeed.
But you never know.
Good premonition, though, if you're going to have one.
If it happens, it would be exciting, wouldn't it? Anderson is in, and outside the off-stump, left alone, very sensibly by Rahul. The batsmen haven't really been asked too many questions at the moment, unless the question is how high would you like to raise your bat above your head when leaving the ball? Yeah. Which is, I think as Simon pointed out, do you agree with him that we talk about the difficulty for batsmen? It's also quite difficult for bowlers. You've just got 2 overs to bowl.
That's
and
right.
You've been sat at the pavilion waiting to bat.
Yeah.
Anderson in, and that's forward in defence. Comes Rahul, plays into the onside where Rashid picks up, and there's no run. The lights are on, but the sun is shining, and there's a bibulous crowd that's soon going to leave today feeling, I think, a lot better than they did at lunchtime and just after, for the most part, because it's a mostly English crowd today. I went and sat out with them a couple of times, and there were some grumblings. And consternation, and asking, well, what was going on? What's the ball doing? As Anderson is in again, and Rahul drives nicely at the offside. It's being pursued by Moeen Ali and Johnny Bairstow. Johnny Bairstow is extremely quick and gets there about 5 yards before Moeen Ali, who had about a 10-yard start, and then throws in, but not before the batsmen have come back for 3. And with that, Rahul moves to 6, and the total to 7 without loss.
That was like one of those horrible sort of 400-metre relay races, isn't it? When you start getting you chase down in that last 100 metres.
Yes.
The lactic acid kicks in and the fellas.
And then Michael Johnson is
races past you.
There was a bit of that.
He was quick there, John.
It was quite cartoony quick as well.
Yeah,
actually. Really, Shikhar Dhawan is on strike. There's 4 slips. The England slips tend to take a more sort of horizontal approach to their cordon than India, I find. As Anderson is into Dhawan, who defends on the front foot. Anderson runs through to field of his own bowling. End of the over, the 3rd of the innings. India 7 without loss. Andrew.
He has. He got one against Essex back in 2003 for Lancashire, and he's got one in a one-day international as well.
Versus South Africa.
Pakistan. Also
in South Africa.
No.
Argue amongst yourselves. While you do, just a note for 5 Live Sports Extra listeners that the US Open tennis commentary will follow our review of the day with Aggers and Michael Vaughan.
Anyway.
Well, unless the Oval was in South Africa in 2003.
I thought that was that time when he bowled Pakistan out, got about 7 for in. Yeah, obviously not. Carry on, Dan.
Thank you. Stuart Broad at the top of his mark with a steely gaze, a gaze of determination. He's ready, and he's coming in with 4 slips and a forward short leg to Rahul, who comes forward against a thick edge, and it goes, how does it get past that 4th slip? Well, it does, and it runs away down to the boundary for 4. Ben Stokes pursues it in vain. There have been some streaky runs today, 11 without loss.
You're correct about England's cordon. They're a lot flatter, which covers more ground. But the Indians have decided to go for the more staggered approach, which covers less ground, but then it's easier to catch, if you know what I mean.
So 3rd slip, it's more likely to carry.
It's straight in you. It's in you, and you know where you stand. You know where you stand a little bit, but then you're not covering that amount of area. One of those things that you have to work up to now.
He's got a bit wider.
Yeah.
4th slip is now.
And you know where it's going to go.
Slip. Yeah, it's going to go right between these 2. Broad in again, and forward in defence again comes Rahul, and solidly so. But that was more like it. That was on the money. So England will start tomorrow in better shape than they might have been. If they have conditions like we had this morning, Broad and Anderson will fancy themselves, won't they, with a newish ball. The Duke's ball today is absolutely hooped.
Absolutely hooped. You're right.
Bowled very well with it.
They did indeed. Seamed and swung a little bit. It just kept you, not prodigious, but it was just, as a seam bowler, it sits in the hand nicely and you feel you're in business.
You love that feel of it, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah, that feel of that ball.
Awful.
Broad is into Rahul. The last over of the day, we think. Wide, very wide, and poor old Butler parries that down towards the boundary. There's going to be, I think, 4 signalled of some kind. Or did he get that back? Did he pull that back, Alistair Cook? I think there must have been a bit of Alistair Cook and a bit of ball and hand and sponge, all in congruity, actually. So we'll now have to wait for a while they check this. We've not seen a signal of any kind yet from the umpire. The eagle-eyed Andrew Sampson is all over it. 4 of his fingers to send it flying past first slip and down to the boundary. Now then, Keaton Jennings is back into this slip, Gordon. There's now 5 of them. As Broad, with how many balls left now? 3 balls left in the over, we think. Comes in, right arm over to Rahul, and turns Rahul round. It squeezes out into the offside. They come through for a quick single. Bairstow quick to the ball, but then can't pick it up cleanly. Moeen Ali tidies up. 16 without loss. It's not quite been the 3 overs and 4 balls that England fans might have wanted, but that can happen. Sam Curran today was something else, wasn't he?
Played beautifully. Just looks like he got the opportunity. He has it in him to just change things. You know what I mean? With a
you
big
were saying
ball.
to me something in there, which I tried to paraphrase out here. That you said that you look at him and you think that he's somebody that you might quite like to bowl at, but actually,
he's got very good hands, arms, and sort of eyes. You know, because he sort of tries to sort of stay leg side of it, and he sort of flashes things through cuts and pull and drives. You know, with but it's just. Everything is on a nice plane, if you know what I mean.
Broad in again, and that's played with an angle back by Dhawan through the 3rd point region. It's being pursued again by Johnny Bairstow, who's an absolutely terrific runner. And he manages to haul that back. He's savouring runs. He's very Tigrish in the field, and there's 3 more to the total, 19 without loss.
Yeah, it all goes...
Hands, arms and eyes.
Yes, the legs are over here somewhere. It doesn't, we talk about a classic technique, foot to the pitch of the ball, high elbow and everything. He doesn't particularly do anything like that. He just keeps all of that in a nice arc. Doesn't particularly slog across the line to the spin bowler.
No.
Yeah, and even if he's not there to the spin bowler, when he comes down the wicket...
You're actually quite balletic the way you do it. Your hand is now being held at a jaunty angle. Rather lovely. Last ball of the day, Broad into Rahul, outside the off stump, left alone, goes through quite low to Butler, who takes that at his ankles. It's the end of the over, end of the day. India go in, I think will be feeling definitely that it has been their day. 19 without loss in reply to England's 246 all out. England, though, we'll also be feeling that from 86 for 6, that is something of a recovery, thanks in no small part to an innings of 40 by Moeen Ali and a magnificent knock of 78 by Sam Curran. Once again, England's middle order getting them out of diabolical disaster, but they're going to need Phil Tufnell to do something early, you would think, with the new ball, because as that ball got a bit softer, even the Indian swing bowlers lost a bit of their effectiveness. So that first session was, we always say it, next session is very important, but it feels that England are going to have to use that session to get right back in this game. Yeah, early wicket's the key for England tomorrow morning. I think the pitch will still be doing a little bit, and I think set up for a great test match. Those test matches of 250, 300 usually end up lovely ones, don't they? They do.
They nip and tuck. And an enthralling day of Test cricket. England reeling 30-odd for 4, 80-odd for 6, come back in and give themselves a sniff of coming back tomorrow morning and getting back into the Test match with James Anderson, Sam Curran, Stuart Broad taking early wickets. Well, that's the thing. We're still going to see Sam Curran bowl yet, and it's been his day so many times in his short Test career. Anyway, thank you, Phil Tufnell. It's time that we brought in Jonathan Agnew and Michael Vaughan, who are going to take you through now the events of the day and take you through to when we will nip off and come back tomorrow.
Lovely, thanks Dan very much. I've just broken some of the machinery there, but never mind. Well, I know a good man with a spanner next door who'll come and fix that later. Sorry about that. Covers coming on, floodlights on, and it's a very pleasant end. It's been a really interesting day's cricket here at the Ageas Bowl. Wickets, a fight back, and then perhaps not the most experienced type of bowling we've seen at the end there from the 2 most experienced bowlers that you could ask to see. They just didn't quite get it right there, Stuart Broad and James Anderson. You can get a bit carried away with yourself, but the amount of overs they've bowled in Test cricket, I think they'll be a bit grumpy with the way they ran in and delivered there. So lots to talk about with Michael Vaughan as we have our review of this first day, which of course can be downloaded as a podcast at the usual place, bbc.co.uk/cricket, a little bit later on. Close of play, the first day of the fourth test between England and India sees India at the close on 19 for no wicket, Dhawan 3, Rahul on 11. That after England chose to bat first and were bowled out for 246. They were 86 for 6. But then the last 4 wickets added 160, thanks largely due to Sam Curran, who made 78, his second half-century in Test cricket, and like his first, he got to it with a 6 as well, which must be something of a record. An excellent 78, his last man out having a bit of a swipe, but he was well supported. He and Moeen played well together. They put on 81. Broad 63, he was out for 17. And so that was a pretty good effort to recover at least from 86 for 6. Wasn't very pretty early on. Jennings out for a 4th ball duck. I think a dismissal that certainly makes his position in the team look very vulnerable indeed. Root out for 4, Bairstow for 6, Cook for 17, Stokes 23. He battled away. That was the point in which England were 86 for 6. Out comes Curran, Butler out for 21, and an excellent performance by the young 20-year-old. Moeen incidentally made 40 in that stand of 81 with Curran. So some decent bowling again. I thought India perhaps got a little bit carried away later on. They went searching a bit for the wickets as they just lost that little bit of control. But Bumrah bowled very well again, a lively pace with 3 for 46. So it means that India are 227 runs behind. They've got all their second innings wickets in hand, and Michael Vaughan sitting alongside me. Well, it was an interesting day to watch, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you look at pretty much every single day of this series, it's had, you know, some fascinating kind of periods. There's been periods where you're watching, in particular from an England perspective, and frustrated because the same mistakes happening time and time again. As soon as the ball does something, you feel that there's going to be wickets tumbling. And then you get a partnership from nowhere where you feel at 86 for 6 today that England were going to get bowled out for 130, game over. And the way that Moeen Ali and Sam Curran just kind of hung in there, played nicely, then started to grab a bit of the momentum with some nice boundaries, as you just said. You know, the Indians started to chase it a little bit too much.
Yes.
I think Virat will be in that dressing room thinking, yeah, all right, we've done okay today, but it could have been a lot better.
Yeah.
I felt that India got frustrated. I thought they got a little bit ragged in the field.
Yep.
You know, Curran and Moeen Ali were hitting to mid-off, mid-on on a regular basis and running. So I think Virat will feel that his team lost the intensity from having England at 86 for 6. They should have bowled England out for 150 on the pitch that they were bowling today. Joe Root's decision at the toss, he got it wrong at Trent Bridge. Today I think he got it right.
Yes, I think
it's the right decision. But
yeah.
the problem as a captain is that whatever decision you make, if your batsmen don't play well, and you just look at the England batting lineup, the top 3, and now Bairstow the top 4 with a broken finger. You know, Johnny's not been in terrific form. All right, he got a nice score at Lord's, but he's not been in the form that we've seen Bairstow over the last couple of years. So the top 4 are out of confidence. You know, you're looking at Keaton Jennings at the top of the order. You think of Stoneman's been dispatched, you think of Milan's been dispatched, Ollie Pope after 2 games. You have to fear for Keaton Jennings' career. And when I see a dismissal like we saw this morning, you know, a dismissal where clearly he went out there with a predetermined mind of leaving the ball because he'd been caught out, you know, with Bumrah at Trent Bridge snicking to the wicket keeper. So I'm going to leave it. Well, that was a foolish ball on leg stump. And it's as bad a dismissal that you can see in Test match cricket, and that tells me that his mind's
sort of confused.
Yeah, his mind, Aggers, isn't on watching the ball and reacting to the ball that's delivered. His mind is right. I'm going to leave it.
Yes.
And once you get into that position as a batsman, it's very difficult to get out of that mindset. So he will certainly be looking over his shoulder, as he should be, with the way that he's played.
It was if people haven't seen it, it's worth having a look at it because it is a very unusual dismissal. It'll be on it is on the BBC website now. But to play no shot, hit on the back leg in front of middle stump. Yeah, I mean, I think we've touched it. But I think confused and
confused and clearly not in
very vulnerable.
You know, playing at the highest level in any sport, it's about being in the here and now. He's clearly not in the here and now when he's watching the ball. Alistair Cook, I thought, looked okay, but he is a concern for me at the top of the order for a player of his ability with so many runs to get in, you know, quite a few times in this series, but to not look in. You know, I still don't think Alistair looks in, and that concerns me. When he's in real quality form and in quality mind, which is generally, if you were to describe Alistair Cook's career, it's the mind that plays so well. Never been a technical player, he's never been one that you'd think is ultimately a great technician, but his mind has always been very strong, and to see him just kind of deflect a ball to third slip, it's almost like fielding practice in the morning. I've not seen that from Alistair Cook, so he's a concern for me at the top of the order. Joe Root is at number 3 because I just don't think he wants to bat at 3. You know, I know it's only one shift from 4 to 3, and if he continues to play in the fashion that he is with that head falling over to the offside, it doesn't matter where he's batting. He's going to get out in that kind of
well, he was
technical
out twice for 4, effectively, because he was saved by a no ball on 2 and LBW for 4.
But if your mind's not right at this level, it just gets highlighted. And I can see a player that he wants to bat at 4. You know, and I think the England captain...
All these positions are interesting, Michael, aren't they? And me as a non-batsman, it didn't make any difference to me if I batted at 9 or 10, frankly. Why is it that batsmen do get this? And we'll talk about it in a minute, I'm sure, but we've got probably 4 batsmen there who should probably all be batting at number 6. But why does the position make a difference?
The top 4 in particular, it's like you taking the new ball or coming on first change.
Okay.
That's how I see from 3 to 4, it's like that.
Right,
you know,
that's quite significant.
And 1, 2 and 3 is taking the new ball, batting at 4 and 5 is like coming on first change. And I look at Joe Root and I can see it in him as a captain that he wants to bat at 4, and I think he's got to be stronger. I think he's got to go to the selectors, he's got to go to I'm the number 4, and then you pick your batting order around him. You know, because from what I'm seeing up in this series and the way that he's playing, all right, he's technically not there, but, you know, and there's...
Who goes 3 then?
Well, you've got to find a 3. You know, I thought this week was going to be the week where James Finch came back and went to number 3.
Right, okay.
And it allowed Joe Root to go to number 4. I wrote in my article, put Bairstow at 3 this week. You know, England have got to find a number 3. It's not for Joe Root to fill that number 3 spot, in my opinion. There's so many areas of the batting. You know, I thought Ben Stokes worked hard, but again, if you're looking at Ben Stokes purely as a technical player at the minute, he looks great, but every now and again, that dismissal is all right, it skids from around the wicket, but if you look at his bat angle when he's playing that stroke, he's playing the ball from around the wicket coming in. If he plays it back from where it's come from with a full face, he gets away with that. His bat is coming and it's going to mid-on. So he's coming across the line of the ball, which has given you every chance to miss that ball.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a few little technical issues.
He basically missed a straight ball today.
Josh Buttler, brilliant captain from Virat Kohli. Yeah. He got the ball swinging, did Shami. What did he do? Rather than keep the 3 sealers at mid-off, extra cover and backward point, he went, I don't know what, I've seen the swing, I'll put a 4th catcher in so I'll open up more of a space. Josh Buttler punted one down the ground, he just went a bit wider, a bit more shape, and he threw his hands at the ball, it went straight to 3rd slip. So good captaincy, poor technique again from Buttler. Butler's dismissal was a real disappointing one because he is the player in form, is the centurion from the last game. You know, and he came out and played a couple of shots, so but they were controlled shot. For him to get out playing away from his body so far to an outswinger, you know, that's, again, it's a mental error. It's not something that, you know, you can point the finger of saying, you know, that happens, you know, all the time. Well, it does actually to this England team. The carrot gets dangled off and then they kind of always fall for it.
Is it that, we've talked about it a lot today, although I haven't actually spoken to you very much today, we've missed each other, but I mentioned these batsmen. They are these free-scoring batsmen. It's the way that they naturally play. They are better suited to be number 6, even number 7 in 1 or 2 cases. But they're also the best players that are around.
Yeah, they are.
So somehow they've got to adapt. It's not a case of saying you can't have Bairstow anymore, kind of Stokes anymore, we need a number 3 or a 4. They've got to learn how to do it, haven't they?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I'm giving them an excuse by saying that, you know, Root should go to 4, Bairstow 3, whatever you want to put. Fundamentally, if they play the way that they're playing, they will get out in any position because there's some technical flaws that need to change.
Around a little bit.
The best technician, from what I've seen from the start he made against Pakistan at Headingley to the 2 test matches and fortunately he misses out at Trembridge to what we've seen today, he plays defensively naturally. In terms of playing a forward defence or back defence, he plays with his hands that come back towards him. So he plays it late and he plays it softly when he's defending. But when he goes to attack, very much like Graham Thorpe used to be, full commits with a full flourish of the bat. He looks the naturally best defensive player that England have had so far in this series. The rest of them still jab at the ball, even in defence. I'm not saying that Sam Curran should go to number 3, and it's very difficult to say. You look at someone like Ben Stokes, he's trying his hardest to try and play late, but it's unnatural for him. You know, what he wants to do is go at the ball, where someone like Sam Curran, he looks a natural player, just playing it late under his eye line, he gets an opportunity to play the cut shot, he plays it, and then he gets a drive ball, he goes, I'll commit to that. But when the ball's a good area and a good delivery that a bowler at this level will bowl more often than not, He's got the ability to play nice and softly, nice and straight.
Yeah. Nice
so
footwork
he's
too.
the one that I look at and think he's probably got the best technique. Whether it's just confidence, we'll have to wait and see, but he looks like he's got the best technique at the minute.
Yeah, no fear either. I mean, he hasn't really had many rough times, has he, yet? So he hasn't actually had to, not dismantle his technique, but adjust technique or make the sort of alterations actually when you've been around a bit you have to do, because people work you out.
But I do look at the England batting line, and it's just they've lost a lot of confidence, because this has been happening for 3 or 4 years now, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, once it happens once, twice, three times, this has been about the 20th time that we've seen a team that goes out when the ball's nibbling around and they're 80 for 6. They're always 30 for 3. You know, we sit on commentary, whatever the conditions, it tends to be England are 33. Can the engine room get them out of trouble? Well, Sam Curran, the 20-year-olds, just giving them a sniff of half a decent score.
Good stuff. Thanks, Michael. You'll be sitting on commentary tomorrow. You can watch highlights of the day's play via the cricket section of the BBC Sport website. The app, our pint-sized TMS, will be available shortly. 2 podcasts worth looking out for: the Do Through with Issa Guha and Tail Enders with Greg James, both available via your normal podcast provider. There's commentary on the US Open tennis. That follows next on 5 Live Sports Extra. We're back on air at 10 o'clock on Sports Extra for our highlights half hour, and then from 10:30 also
Decent score.
Good stuff. Thanks, Michael. You'll be sitting on commentary tomorrow. You can watch highlights of the day's play via the cricket section of the BBC Sport website. The app, our pint-sized TMS, will be available shortly. 2 podcasts worth looking out for: the Do Through with Issa Guha and Tail Enders with Greg James, both available via your normal podcast provider. There's commentary on the US Open tennis. That follows next on 5 Live Sports Extra. We're back on air at 10 o'clock on Sports Extra for our highlights half hour, and then from 10:30 also on Radio 4 Longway. The forecast's good. We look forward to seeing you down here at the Ageas Bowl tomorrow. Until then, from all of us here, we'll say goodbye.
That is one of the most extraordinary rallies I've ever seen in my life.
This is a big match, and now the drama has started. Ding, ding.
Coming to you live from New York City.
I'll tell you what, there are 23,000 people in this stadium. There's not one person sitting down.
This is the U.S. Open.
The New York crowd sensing this is a little bit of history here. It's a big part of history.
This is tough, it's taxing, it's exhilarating, it's fun, it's living up to its billing.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live Sports Extra.
What a night to be in New York.
Day 4 at Flushing Meadows with 7 Grand Slam champions on the show and 9 US Open. Hello and welcome. It's lovely to have you with us. Thank you to everyone at the cricket. They said the weather was good and the weather was hot there. Therefore here it is really, really hot. Maybe not quite as hot as it has been this week. It doesn't feel as humid today. It's still around 32, 33 degrees. Therefore the extreme heat rule is still being enforced. Now we are underway. There are matches all over the court. As I mentioned, 32 singles matches. We've also got the doubles competition underway, and very shortly, well, maybe in an hour or so, we'll have Roger Federer taking to the Arthur Ashe Court. There is so much to keep an eye on, but that is always the way. If you would like to get in touch with us, at 5 Live Sport on Twitter. Maybe you have a question for Great Britain's Davis Cup captain Leon Smith, who's alongside us in the 5 Live Sports Extra commentary box. Also with us, tennis commentator, reporter extraordinaire David Law. Gentlemen, lovely to have you both with us. And so, yes, Leon, you were saying heat-wise, feel a bit better than yesterday?
A little bit. I would say the humidity has dropped somewhat, but the sun is still out. It's extremely hot. I think it's still 90 degrees.
Yeah.
So still extremely tough conditions for the players.
And David, the matches are underway. Something that I'm sure you've been talking a little bit about this morning, you were doing the reports into 5 Live we had overnight, was we no longer have Andy Murray in the competition, and there's talk that possibility about Davis Cup a little bit later, but it's sad he is no longer in the competition, but there were flashes of what we know and love from him.
We had the time of our life last night commentating on his match and Cameron Norrie at the same time, but obviously Andy Murray as a champion here in 2012 and somebody who we have certainly questioned on our coverage. I've felt at times, I've wondered whether we would ever see him in a situation like that again because of the hip surgery he had. It was like old times last night. He didn't win, but my goodness, he reminded us of who he is, what he has given to this sport, what he is capable of this sport, and what he is still capable of producing in this sport if his body will only comply. It was thrilling, riveting entertainment, and he fought tooth and nail against Fernando Verdasco. It just had everything. It was 4 sets. Okay, he didn't win, but my goodness, he ran us through the whole thing. He was ranting, he was getting upset, he was producing miraculous. There were a couple of rallies where he's getting to balls where you are just in disbelief, quite honestly, and then winning the rallies. And the crowd here, you get that occasionally, I think, when a player is either coming back from injury or they're a little older, they start to be appreciated more. And Andy Murray, I think, has always been popular here. He's always had a good relationship with the crowd. They've fed off him, he's fed off them. But now there's an affection that has grown even more, and it was great to see him out there last night, and let's hope that's the first of many.
Leon, it was only his 9th match of 2018 and his 5th